Welcome to the Father's Heart Worship Center piano tutorial on I Can Only Imagine by Tamela Mann. I'm going to give you a basic breakdown of this particular song, but let me introduce our focus and purpose in doing this tutorial. If you go on YouTube, there are a whole lot of good tutorials that are on there, and there's also some bad ones, but for the most part, there's some pretty good ones. The problem that people find when they go on to YouTube to get these particular songs is that they can only get a portion of the song, and in most cases they have to go to a particular website of that particular tutorial, and that they're either going to join that site or pay for that song. And I'm not against that. I believe that people do and should have businesses and that we should support them. There are two or three of them that I do support myself. But for the most part, I want it to be a blessing to those who cannot afford to pay for those tutorials and can't afford to be monthly members. So a part of what we do here at the Father's Heart Worship Center is we try to reveal the heart of the Father by way of charitable acts and doing as much giving as we can, as much loving as we can, and so on. So this song, I Can Only Imagine by Tamela Mann. Let me give you the intro. I'll break it down. The verse and the intro are pretty much the same, and this is how the intro does. And then it goes into the verse. I can only imagine. So, excuse some of the mess ups there, but here's basically what you're doing. The movement with the right hand is on a C sharp, a G sharp, and C sharp. Your bass line is going to be a C sharp and a G sharp. Again, a C sharp and a G sharp. And your movement is the bottom, or the top rather, C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, G sharp, C sharp. So you can even count it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay? So C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, G sharp, C sharp. You hold down your bass line C sharp, G sharp, okay? So let me count it for you. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And then you move your bass line over to F sharp, C sharp, F. Or you can just do the F sharp and the C sharp, but you hold them down. I prefer to do the F sharp, C sharp, and the F with the same movement in the right hand on the same notes. So going back to the first one. And then move it over. Back. Only imagine. So it's just going back and forth in terms of the intro does it one time and then boom, it goes right into the verse. And the verse is pretty much redundantly doing the same thing. You can add fill-ins and you can do other things, but if you just want to keep it simple and stay within the melody, that's what they're doing, okay? Once you're coming out of that verse and going into the chorus, which is to be surrounded by your glory, you will start here. Let me come out of the verse, okay? To be surrounded by your glory. Back to the beginning. Okay, so let me give you that breakdown on to be surrounded by your glory. And again, forgive me for some of the bad notes that I hit there. But here you go with to be surrounded by your glory. Starts off with your bass line on F sharp, C sharp, and your chord with your right hand is on F sharp, G sharp, and C sharp. Your next chord is going to be a G sharp in the bass with a D sharp. So you have G sharp and D sharp, and then your chord in your right hand is going to be your A flat, C, C sharp, or the way you can play it is, which would probably be more the correct way, would be the D sharp, G sharp, C, and C sharp together. So you're doing something like this. To be surrounded by your glory. Your next chord is going to be A sharp and F in your bass line. And your chord is going to be back to that, your F sharp, your G sharp, and your C sharp. Okay? With, again, A sharp in the bass, F and F sharp, G sharp, C sharp. Then you go to a C in the bass line with an G sharp and D sharp. So again, your first one, to be surrounded. And that's where you have the C in the bass line with an A flat, G sharp, same thing, G sharp and a D sharp. Then you'll go to the C sharp, which is going to be a, in your right hand, a G sharp, C sharp, and an F. Back to the very first one I gave you, to be surrounded. Repeat it again. And you just keep repeating that until you're ready to resolve it. And so when it comes time to resolve it, and again you're hitting the same exact chords, but let me show you how you would resolve it. So you're on your final round. Now you resolve it. Okay, and so what that is once you come off of that F sharp and you go into that A flat, which is again what I showed you earlier, then you resolve it with the so what that is, you're doing a which is a C, C sharp, and G sharp. So 1, 2, 3. So C, C sharp, and G sharp. Then you come off with a, make sure I got that right. Yeah, so once you do the C, C sharp, G sharp, you then hit A for this here. So you're going to do a F sharp, F, D sharp, and C sharp, and then back to your beginning. And then back to the beginning of the song. And so you're doing that until you get back to, again, the chorus, which is to be surrounded by your glory. And you're going to play that same thing again that I showed you before. To be surrounded by your glory. F up. And then again. So this is the, when you get to the part where they're doing the O's, the same progression that you're using on To Be Surrounded by Your Glory, you're doing exactly the same thing. Same, starting with the F sharp to the A flat to that B flat minor. Same exact thing. Only difference is you can add some fill in there if you want, or you can go with the melody. So, you know, you can do something as simple as A very simple process. And so that's pretty much the whole song. And then it goes back into the verse. I can only imagine. Okay? So hopefully this tutorial has been a blessing to you, and I hope that it has helped you in some way. Um, please forgive me if it wasn't a little clear or if I didn't take out the time to go through the whole thing. But that's pretty much the whole song. Okay? God bless you, and I hope you've enjoyed it.